Hello everyone, and welcome to the corrupted lands of Felwood. Once part of Ashenville, this area was transformed when Archimonde and the Burning Legion, they came to take another bite out of Azeroth during Warcraft 3. In that game, we saw Kel'thuzad take the Book of Medivh out of Gul'dan, since that book contained the incantations that he needed to summon Archimonde, while Tychondrius took another prize out of the city, the Skull of Gul'dan. This Orc Warlock had joined the Horde during their first invasion of Azeroth, but eventually set his eyes on power hidden away within the tomb of Sargeras. His lust and greed would soon become his demise, to which his skull, it did quite a bit of traveling. For example, Deathwing held it for a bit, Khadgar used it to shut down the Dark Portal, until it ended up here in the vaults of Gul'dan, and now at the hands of Tychondrius. On Archimonde's orders, the Pit Lord Manaroth, together with Tychondrius, they traveled to Kalimdor to weaken his defenses, in preparation for the demon's invasion. Archimonde clearly remembers when the Legion tried to claim Azeroth before. The War of the Ancients, they called it, over 10,000 years ago. A war that was won by the Night Elves by reversing the portal that was created, sending the Legion back to where they came from. This did destroy their source of power, the Well of Eternity, but Illidan Stormrage, he made a new one. Something that the other Night Elves could not exactly appreciate. They just fought a war because of the original Well, so Illidan, because of this and amongst other things, he was labeled betrayer and imprisoned for his crimes. Conquering that second Well and wiping out the opposition, that is what Archimonde wants to do first. Now Kalimdor, it teemed with creatures who were hostile to the Legion. The demons considered most of them harmless, little more than minor annoyances. But Cenarius and the other wild gods, they were different. During that War of the Ancients, they had fiercely resisted the Legion. If they now wanted any hopes of reaching the second Well of Eternity, they would have to get through Cenarius and his woodland allies first. To blunt the might of the wild, Manaroth and Tychondrius, they brought the Skull of Gul'dan to Kalimdor. The artifact, it had changed since falling into the hands of the Legion. The demons had infused it with even more fell magic, making it far more powerful than it had been before. They could draw those energies, to poison Ashenvale's woodlands and weaken Cenarius. The process, it would be slow, but it would definitely be effective. On top of that, Manaroth also set a little trap for the orcs on the planet. They'd been corrupted with his blood before, and now, as Gromar's Hellscream led his forces into a war with none other than Cenarius, they would drink again. This did indeed give them the power to strike down Cenarius. It earned them a great victory, but it also firmly placed them under Manaroth's control once again. So despite Cenarius falling to the orcs, the Skull of Gul'dan, it was still busy corrupting the land. Now the Night Elves, they were well aware that Archimonde had returned, just as Illidan had predicted. So it was that the leader, Tyrande the Whisperwind, despite the objections of her beloved Malfurion Stormrage, she decided to free the betrayer and recruit his aid against the Legion.
Tyrande, it is your voice. After all these ages spent in darkness, your voice is like the pure light of the moon upon my mind.
Only for her was he willing to help their people. Freedom was his once more, and as he stormed Hygel's worn-torn forest, he had no specific destination in mind, but he did have a purpose. He was going to bring the Legion to his knees, but to do that, he was going to need even greater knowledge and power. Illidan sensed both, emanating from northern Ashenvale, where immense fell energies ripped out from the wilds. He followed the magics to their source, and he soon found himself in what we now call Felwood. The first creature to bar his way was not a demon, it was a human who reeked of death.
I am free after 10,000 years. Yet still my own brother thinks I am a villain. I'll show him my true power. I'll show him that the demons have no hold over me.
Are you certain of that, Demon Hunter? Are you certain your will is your own?
You reek of death, human. You'll regret approaching me.
Come then. You'll find that we're evenly matched.
Despite previously helping with summoning Archimonde into the world, Arthas and his master the Lich King, they held no love for the Burning Legion. He was seeking a way of overthrowing their control without drawing their attention, and he found the perfect pawn in Illidan. The dark energies of the skull were spreading further every day, slowly creeping up Hygel's slopes. If Arthas could strike down Tychondrius and destroy the Skull of Gul'dan, it would then stop the spread of fell magic and deal a significant blow to the Legion's war efforts. Arthas sensed Illidan's insatiable yearning for power. It would be an easy thing to use the Night Elf's ambitions as a weapon.
We could go on fighting like this forever. What is it you truly want?
The Dreadlord who commands this undead army is called Tychondrius. He controls a powerful warlock artifact called the Skull of Gul'dan. It is responsible for corrupting these forests.
And you wish for me to steal it. Why?
Let's just say that I have no love for Tichondrius, and the lord I serve would benefit from the Legion's downfall.
Illidan was deeply suspicious of Arthas, but he had already sensed the great power emanating from within Felwood. It was simply too enticing to ignore, so Illidan went in search of it and he left Arthas behind. This would not be the last time that these two would meet. Now a trail of fallen demons, it stretched behind Illidan by the time that he found the Skull of Gul'dan. He was pleased to discover that the artifact was filled with not only energy, but also knowledge. The skull contained the memories of the Orc Warlock. Rather than simply draw power from the relic, Illidan consumed its energies entirely.
Now, at least the demons will no longer corrupt the forests. But if I destroy the skull and claim its powers as my own, I will become stronger than any of Archimonde's lieutenants. Yes, the power should be mine.
Now I am complete.
Fell magic surged through his flesh and blood. Massive horns sprouted from his skull, while leathery wings unfurled from his back. Illidan transformed from a night elf into a demon, very similar to how his brother's druidic journey that transformed him from a night elf into a much more animalistic creature. As power flooded into Illidan, so did Gul'dan's memories. He learned of the creature's homeworld of Draenor, Outland as we would now call it, and of the mysteries and ancient artifacts locked within the tomb of Sargeras. Imbued with this new power, Illidan hunted down Tichondrius.
What? Who are you? Let's see how confident you are against one of your own kind, Dreadlord.
Foul demon! What have you done with my brother?
It is I, Furin. This is what I've become.
No. Illidan, how could you?
The leader of the undead has been destroyed, and the forests will heal, in time.
At the cost of your soul? You are no brother of mine. Be gone from this place, and never set foot in our lands again.
So be it, brother.
Despite the fact that he had helped the Night Elf's war efforts, despite doing the very thing that she had released him for, Illidan now faced the scorn from his brother and even from Tyrande. In their mind, he had gone too far in consuming the Skull of Gul'dan. He had become a demon, one of the very creatures that the Night Elves were struggling to defeat. Illidan obeyed his banishment, but only because he knew that staying in this area, it was simply meaningless. If the Night Elves thwarted the Legion invasion, it would simply not matter. A single defeat would not stop the Legion from just coming back again. Illidan had his own war to fight, the only war that mattered. Do you see now? For doing what was needed to drive the demons from these lands, my master was banished. Verona Sindweather tells us. He's a demon hunter in the area that we're actually asked to kill, since he's been killing druids of the Emerald Circle. But instead, he opens our eyes to the truth. The Emerald Circle, that's a branch of the Cenarian Circle, an order of mostly druids that are working very hard on cleansing the land of Felwood. We helped them out a lot with that task, yet the druids that Veronis has been killing at Jadefire Run, they're not druids at all. They're actually demons in disguise, going as high up as the leader of the circle, Archdruid Navarax himself. Veronis wants to take him out, but he can't get to him. The other members, they would unknowingly defend the demon with their lives, but we have their trust. We reveal Navarax to be the Satyr Zaravan, a demon that we put down. The Order is shocked to the core by this revelation. We'll investigate the druids of Jadefire Run and make sure that the higher-ups know that Veronis should be left alone. So that is how the land of Felwood came to be as we know it as today. A land named after the very thing that corrupted it. While the Circle might have been infiltrated, that doesn't mean that they're not trying to do what is best for the land. Even back in Classic, most of the quests that we did here that had to do with trying to heal nature or kick out the remaining forces left behind by the Legion. Forces like the Satyrs, minions of the Burning Legion, whose origins go all the way back to the War of the Ancients. When Queen Azshara, her advisor Xavius, and the Highborn made contact with Sargeras and the Legion, they worked very hard on bringing the Dark Titan into the world. In turn, the Resistance, they did their very best to stop this from happening. Malfurion even destroyed the first portal they created, as well as taking out Xavius. But Sargeras wasn't quite done yet with the elf. He took those parts that used to please him, reshaped the body, and he brought him back to Azeroth as the first of the Satyr. Xavius then went on corrupting more of his kind to be like him, and while Xavius would eventually be turned into a tree by Malfurion, his corrupted kin is still out there. We killed them at Jadefire Glen, but getting to the corrupted Moonwell is a little bit more trickier, as they have a barrier of demonic fire protecting it. We're going to need the Claw of Tichondrius to get in, information that we learned from an imp. This imp might sound familiar to you if you played a Warlock during Classic. This imp is Impsy. More on him later, but with the unwilling aid of the imp, we learn how to obtain the Claw, dispel the barrier, and take out one of the leaders, Zavatras. While we were busy doing that, Impsy talks a little bit more, and specifically about what imps fear most. Arcanus Delaris then uses that information to conjure up a prism, which will project an image of what was described, terrifying the Jadefire imps, but will reward it with a rainbow-generated toy. Beautiful rainbows brightening up the world, while the claw is given to people responsible enough to contain such things, assuming that it can't be destroyed. At the ruins of Constellus, we murder some of the Satyr while running into members of the Shadow Council. The Shadow Council used to be Gul'dan's special secret club, but with the orc death, the council has now accepted members from all kinds of races and are seemingly doing the bidding of the Burning Legion. Foul warlocks behind nearly every attempt to bring demons into Azeroth. At Jadenar, named in worship of Kil'jaeden himself, a former Barrow Den has been taken over, turned into the Shadow Council's own stronghold on Azeroth. Corruption that must be removed. Their satyrs are working directly with the Shadow Council and answer to the ancient and powerful Prince Avalis. Some say that he's the son of Xavius, the very first satyr, but I don't actually recall any mention of Xavius having a child. Who knows how those rumors start, but we kill him of course, then take on the succubi Mora and Salia, fighting our way to the orc Fel'dan. Not the most original name you could think of, more demon than orc. With Fel'dan's death, there's only one left to kill, the Dreadlord, Lord Banehollow, the one that the Shadow Council serves. The cleansing of Shadow, it's going to take more time and effort, but with our defeat of the Shadow Council, at least it's going to be possible at all. In time, it may even be used as the Barrow Den that it once was. At Whispering Grove, they're well aware that trying to bring nature back to a land that's so corrupted by Fel, that is no easy task, but they're trying all the same. Some progress is even being made, as we discovered from the newly sprouting plants and the diminishing Fel energies in the entropic horrors at Shatterscar Vale. The Vale is the area where the first demons set foot in this land, infernals that crash down from the sky, which create these massive craters in the earth. The most fearsome demon in the Vale, that would have to be Crozius. Though many have hunted him over the years, destruction has only made him stronger. Time after time, warlocks came to these forests and reanimated Crozius. That was because in Classic, in order to learn how to summon an infernal, warlocks had to follow this questline that took them into Felwood. Together with Impsy, the same imp that we interrogated, they got the materials necessary to reanimate Crozius. They then slew the demon and brought back its infernal core. Part of the Warlock Mount quest also played out here, and then there was another. One of the quests that stuck in my mind as being one of the best quests that I've ever played through, that would be the Hunter Epic Bow quest. Within Ragnaros' fiery lair of molten core, hunters found an ancient petrified leaf. The epidermis of the leaf glows a bright green. The surface is extremely rugged, exposing several veins and wrinkles. If you had to take a guess, you would say that this leaf came from something ancient and powerful. Maybe you should find the original owner of this leaf. And that owner is right here in Felwood, Vartrus the Ancient. Together with Hastad and Stoma, these ancients did not have the greatest time when the Legion came and corrupted their lands. They're not too happy with the Legion and decide to recruit hunters to enact some vengeance for them, take out 4 of the mightiest agents of the Legion still hiding on the world, and as a reward, you will get Rokdelar, a longbow of the Ancient Keepers, as well as the staff and the quiver once the entire questline was done. The ancient protectors of Iron Tree Woods, they're dead for years now, their bodies a grim symbol of the damage to these lands. Every season though, the elves still take the water from the Moonwell and pour it on the ground before them, hoping that it will nurture new life. We get to follow their tradition, and wouldn't you know it, a little sprout pops up right before our eyes. Nature still has a chance to grow. We take it to some rich soil, feed it some bugs, let it dance in the sunbeams and absorb the spirits of other corrupted stompers. Bigger and bigger it becomes, with room for each friend. Others of its kind have tried so many times to grow in this forest, with little success. The Wither Protector that lurks in the north. It's the only ancient that has grown to maturity since the ruining of the forest. But his body is sick and its mind is mad. We'll save him as well by putting him out of his misery and adding its spirit to our sprouts. In the shadow of the ancients, it takes root to grow further. Someday it will spread its branches across a renewed forest, full of life and hope. Maybe one day we'll actually see each other again. Until that day comes, we'll have to focus on the story right now. Of course, there's also going to be some Alliance and Horde specific questing. Back in Classic, the Horde had their own outpost called Bloodvenom Post, where they used to help Weena Hazard with finding some kind of advantage against the Alliance. Her newest interest was a moonwell at the ruins of Constellus, tended by the Jadefire Satyrs. Its corrupted waters could be used to our advantage. With just a small amount of it, her kitten had doubled in size and seems to be stronger. Her experiments pleased it at first, but they got out of control real quick. These days, the area is overrun with awful slime thingies. Only Altsoba Rage Totem was able to make it out alive. The poor Tauren is very ill, but thankfully, the Dryad Kelnir is taking real good care of him. We help out by gathering some emerald shimmer caps so that he can barf out the corruption, and then we clean up the mess at the camp. Winna is pretty far gone, but what's left of her is continuously making new slime. We have to stop the production. We have to reach her somehow. Perhaps the kitten that she used to use for the quest, perhaps that's going to be enough to get through to her. The very same kitten that she had fed corrupted slime water, it now prowls the forest, large and dangerous. We slay it, a kindness really, and its ear tag, it reminds Willa of what she has done, just long enough for us to slay her. Then further to the north, we discovered that the Worgen and the Goblins, they're duking it out. Some of these Worgens have lived in the land since the Scythe of Elune first passed through it, meaning that they are the original Worgen, Night Elves taking the pack form too far and losing themselves to the beasts. Most of them have suffered through the fall of Gilneas, so the playable human kind of Worgen, but all of them have gathered here to learn the ways of nature and uphold its balance. In this cursed land, their cursed people have found a new way of life. Now they have tried everything in their power to warn the goblins to leave the Iron Tree clearing before they resorted to violence. As the goblins turned a blind ear to them, they struck, and now rather than spare the forest, the goblins prefer to lay down their lives for greed. They will soon know the full extent of their fury, as heroes slay their Iron Tree choppers and stop the goblins from stealing the wisps. In turn, the goblins are increasing their production as much as they can. If they don't, the Horde might lose the war, and if the Horde loses the war, they're out on their butts at best and dead at worst. Heroes help the goblins by oiling up their shredders, slaying the hidden Worgen and stealing some of the wisps. While the Alliance sabotages their main pump, which causes pipes to break all over the camp, the goblins are in a panic. The Horde tries to clean up the mess as best they can, but with the goblins scattered around and the equipment destroyed, they'll either get the message and leave the area, or they're gonna be easy picking for the Worgen if they choose to stay. The Worgen believe that they have won here, so they ask the Alliance heroes to check in with the local Furbolg. Well, the Horde, they do the same. While they deal with the fallout of all the ridiculous nonsense this has went on in their camp, they need someone to give the Furbolg the idea that the Horde isn't all bad. Now the origin of the Furbolg, that goes back to a fierce race of bearmen called the Yalgar, as described within the Chronicles. While Bran Bronzebeard, he suggests that they're actually descendants from the wild god called Ursoc. Both might actually be true. These Yalgar might have come from Ursoc, then pushed into Kalimdor's lush central forest by King Yimmeron and his forces, to then become the Furbolg as we know them today. They were also a fierce ally during the War of the Ancients, not always hostile to outsiders, but over time, corruption from different sources, it pushed them into outright hostility or wariness of outsiders. Right here in Felwood, the Fel corruption has hit the Furbolgs hard, the Timbermaw being the last known tribe of uncorrupted Furbolg within the area. You used to spend quite a bit of time proving yourself to them, grinding reputation by either killing the corrupted Furbolg or turning in spirit beads and deadwood headress feathers. The rewards were definitely worth it though. Not only did it mean safe passage into Winterspring, some of the patterns were simply amazing to have. These days, proving yourself is still part of the journey, but it has become quite a bit easier. This starts as soon as we enter the zone. Rumbo, great god of the Timbermaw tribe, it speaks to us through his totem. we get the honor of being its champion by slaying the corrupted Deadwood Firbolg, get him some honey, and do a little dance. Yeah, oddly enough, this great god wants to see us dance. Turns out it was just two Firbolg cubs hiding in the totem, Drizzle and Furley playing a little prank. Further up north, we run into the cubs again. Drizzle was dumb enough to go into Felpaw village himself to steal some honey. It was a dumb idea, and he got caught, in need of a rescue. While there, we also slay the corrupted Firbolg at Felpaw village. And while we're at it, we might as well prevent some bloodshed in the future by stealing away their weapons. It's going to take some time before the Timbermaw Firbolgs trust us completely, but this is definitely a good start. Just as long as we don't go around murdering all the Firbolg that we see, we should be able to find some common ground. And that is the story of Felwood, once part of Ashenvale, then corrupted by Fel, now dealing with the aftermath of the Legion invasion. By all means, let me know which zone you'd like me to cover next in the comments down below. And as always, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time, guys, see ya!